This is what we're making today. It's pretty good looking. Well, hello! Welcome to Texas Cooking Today. This is the recipe version on my ham recipe. Today we're going to be doing a studded and glazed ham, and it is flat delicious. If you've ever been interested in this kind of preparation on ham, you found the right video. This is the kind of recipe that you can expand on also if you wish to add in other things. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Texas Cooking Today, and I appreciate you watching this. If you would also take a look at my store. Now, I have merchandise around Texas Cooking Today. We're about to be putting out an embroidered apron, as well as the cap that I have. I've got some new shirts that are out, a new jacket. So there's a lot of stuff that's appearing there, as well as my recipes. Please take a look at that. That's S.A.Trotter.com, and it's a really cool way to help me out and try out my merch. Thank you very much, and please, let's get into this. Let's take a look at what we're going to be using. Very simple stuff. It's the method of preparation that makes a difference, and a spice that really kicks it off, and that's the clove we're going to stud it with. So come on over, let's get started. This isn't that hard. So today what I'm going to be using in my ingredients, I've got a big beautiful ham here. I actually have about a 10.5-pound ham, and this is a butt portion. It is just wonderful to do this with. Also, in addition to my ham, got some brown sugar, cloves, this is some lime juice, salt, and some honey over here. We're going to make a very simple glaze that can be built on. In other words, if you want a glaze that has fruit in it, like let's say apricot, or maybe a glaze that has pineapple or cherries, that's all doable. You can put the fruit in whole, or you can go ahead and puree the fruit. That's the way I like to do it. So that's just some options that you can add to this. To get started on this, it's easy enough, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be making slices into the meat. You only have to cut in about 3/8 of an inch deep, maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's in that neighborhood. If you're cutting a 1/2 inch deep or deeper, you're way too deep. Okay, so keep it on the shallow side and space those lines about 1 inch apart. Cut diagonally this way, not straight up and down, because if you do that, you're going to end up with, well, it's just not going to look as good. So cut diagonally this way and bring your lines on around, all the way around that way, and then crisscross them, and it'll give you a beautiful diamond pattern, and it works absolutely like a charm. Now when I do this, I'll also set it up so that it is setting on the cut end, and I have the entire outside of this that I can stud top and bottom. I'll also cook it that way with the open side down. It's a very simple way of doing this. There's going to be some fluid in the pan, so we put a little water in there. If you want wine in there or anything else, you can put it in the pan. Feel free to do that. Then we'll get on with cooking it up. But it's not a difficult thing, so go ahead and stud your ham, and I'll show you what mine looks like here in just a moment. Okay, as you can see, crisscross cuts all the way around on this thing. And I have shoved one of those cloves in every single one of the centers of those squares. Now the way I was taught to do this when I was young was to put those cloves where you had every intersecting line, and you get good penetration of flavor. But I have found that this method gives you more decorative look afterwards, and you still get a very, very strong penetration of flavor. So don't be afraid of doing it this way. Frankly, it looks a little better after the fact. And now we just get it in the oven. I'm going to put this under foil after I put some water down in here, tint it off, put it in the oven at 300. And you're going to be cooking this roughly 15 to 20 minutes per pound. And the bigger the roast, of course, you know, sometimes you have to add a little extra time there. Here I have a 10.5-pound ham. It's going to be in there 20 minutes per pound. So if I average that out, then I'm looking at about 2 hours and 40 minutes roughly. Okay, not a big deal. This one will come out really nice once it's cooked just right. However, in the end of that cooking, we take that foil off, and that's when we start glazing the thing. And that's what we're going to build over here is our glaze, and that can be done while this is roasting. Plenty of time. I put a couple of cups of water in the bottom of this, covered it with this, and that was it. Now, if you want, you can put aromatics in there. You can put like lemon, lime, you know, any kind of citrus fruit. You can put bay leaves in there, all kinds of stuff. So put it in the pan if you feel like it's going to contribute. For me, it was just leave it alone. I like simple things. So I left a little bit of water in there, some cloves in there, and that will provide the aromatics underneath the roast as it's cooking. This just needs time in the oven, 300 degrees, 20 minutes per pound. Let's get this. Oh, here we go. Right up in that oven. Now, just give it time. Be patient. I've got about 3 hours to spend. The glaze is a very simple thing, folks. It's not a hard thing. All it is just sugar that has been heated and fixed as a liquid form. In other words, hot syrup of sugar. Now, that can be honey, it can be brown sugar, it can just be plain cane sugar if you want. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of flavors. They all work really well. But there's some things that help. A little bit of acid helps to bump flavor in the ham, okay? That acid contrasts with the sweet and it's really good, okay? Put a little salt in there too. It's gonna make it pop, all right? Not a lot, a little, about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon. Put everything in this, add some water to it to get that sugar to dissolve. And once you've dissolved your sugars, then you're ready to go ahead and start cooking this. You can cook this at any time, but it's best not to wait till the last moment. So give it about an hour cooking time because you got to cook all the water out of it and get it into a nice syrupy state. Okay, folks, I'm cooking my sugars down here. They're just now starting to come up in temperature a little bit above 225, and I'm getting a good activity there, so I know I've cooked out most of that water, and I can reduce the temperature a little bit. There we go. So in just a little bit, I'll turn off my temperature under this. I'll just let the sugar wait for it. For the ham has about another 30 minutes before I take the foil off and begin basting it with this. At the same time, I'm going to bring the temperature in the oven way up. So I'm going to come up from the 300 degrees I'm cooking at now. I'm going to take it straight up to about 450, and that way I get good caramelizing action on the outside with my sugars. That simple. Okay. Well, that temperature's coming up a little higher than I need. So at that point, when it's above 225 and rising, then you pretty much know you're there. Look at this. It's looking gorgeous, isn't it? Now, it has been 2 hours and 30 minutes in the oven, and I have just now taken the foil off of it. So now's where we're going to start getting that browning. Now, I've got this beautiful studded look. The fat's pulling apart. It's really starting to take on character. Now, as we get the sugar on it, it's going to take on even more character. So I've got my glaze right back here. It's already cooked up. And that only took, maybe 20, 25 minutes to cook. It didn't take that long. And now it's all ready to use. Get it on your ham, get it back in the oven. I have set my oven now for 450 degrees. I've raised the temperature so that as this gets put in there, it starts to glaze and caramelize and color the outside of that ham beautiful. The quantity of everything that I used today, well, for that glaze, we were doing 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I used dark brown sugar for that. I used about 1/4 cup of the lime juice, about a pinch of the salt there, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon is more than enough. On that honey, about 1/2 cup of honey, and so that way in total you have about 2 cups of sugar. Very simple, and as I said, if you wish to add in some fruit, that you can go ahead and do that. Puree it, pour it right in there. It can be canned fruit, works great. Just drain off the juice, puree the fruit, and put it in. Now, as far as how much water, you only need enough water to just dissolve the sugar, okay? Because that water is going to cook out of that glaze, and you're going to have that nice, thick, sugary glaze to put over the top. Delicious way to do this. Let's take a look at the end product. Look at this guy. He's out of the oven. That is a very good looking ham. All right, you can take this, set it right up in the middle of the table. You have a gorgeous presentation all the way around on that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what a studded ham looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, if you don't remove those cloves, at least forewarn your guests not to eat them, okay? That would be a little more robust than they want. However, I'm gonna say this. I love ham, and this is really good. Gotta be one of my favorite ways to do this. I don't do it enough. Maybe I should. But it's a perfect thing to do for your holiday. A good use of a very cost-effective meat. Folks, please enjoy yours. Enjoy this recipe. Thank you for watching this. If you would, again, please look in the description box. I got my links there. My website, my merchandise, really cool stuff, my shirts, caps, all kinds of stuff. Please take a look. You're gonna like what you see there. And what you find is going to be top quality stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching this. Please check out my other videos. And please enjoy your ham. Yeah. Oh, that's good.